Hi, this is the first rendition of my verbal dyspraxia journey. Most of my life I was unable to communicate with my voice, and partly because of that, nobody knew except me. So it's been a really trapped life that I've led for most of it. Not being able to participate in the environment I was in. When I was little, I remember saying a couple of things wrong, and that's part of my dyspraxia anyway. But when I say wrong, I mean the wrong word came out. This is something really common for dyspraxics. This isn't the verbal dyspraxia. So once my grandma asked me what I'd had for tea, and I said, spaghetti. And she said, was it good? And I said, it was absolutely disgusting. And she was so disgusted by my comment, which I didn't mean, because the wrong word came out of my mouth. I was trying to say it was absolutely delicious, but because I didn't have any experience of using my voice, and then the dyspraxia came into play with the wrong word coming out, she gave me a very severe reaction, thinking that I'd said something very naughty. And this kind of accident happened to me a couple of times when I was quite young, when I did try to say things. I remember when I changed primary schools, and I was in my new school, in my new classroom, and I needed to get from our table with seats to the teacher because I was stuck with my work task or whatever she'd asked us to do. And it was really something I have to build up to as a dyspraxic, of getting across the room from where I am. How do I actually get around these desks and so on to get to the teacher? So I'd built up to it, and then I decided, right, I've got the courage to do it, get up, go towards the teacher, and navigating a space is really challenging. So many things could go wrong with trips and bumps and embarrassing mishaps. So when I got to the teacher, I knew how to be very polite because that's how I was raised. And I tried to, and I said, I'm in a bit of a muggle. And the teacher burst out laughing. Because I said the word incorrectly. And again, this is not really the verbal dyspraxia either, but these kind of negative experiences with my speaking essays, is that a word? Made me more inclined to shut down and not dare to try to say things because it was very frightening, because I could get some kind of very unexpected reaction, like this burst of laughter when I was sort of vulnerable, asking for help with something. And then I need to give an example of the actual verbal dyspraxia, which is that I had difficulty saying my name. So if I needed to say my name, I was getting very, very worried. Anything, not just my name. Okay, so let's give an example of the register, which you do every day. We used to do every day at school, maybe twice a day. And I had so much anxiety about it, but not just because it could be anxiety provoking for anybody, but because I might not be able to say the thing when it got to my turn. So when it was my turn, then would I be able to actually say the word and answer and say whatever I was supposed to say, like, yes, miss, or something. and whether it would come out right, because this is the thing with my voice, that I couldn't say my name. So if I tried to say my name when someone asked me, then it was sort of like, I couldn't get that sound. And then because I didn't have much confidence because of these negative experiences as well, and I hadn't had experience of using my voice, I couldn't sort of like say the name. And then even worse if I had to say the last name as well, because I couldn't say that either. So every time I used to have to say my name, whenever I did say it, if I managed to get the name out in the first place, it sounded wrong somehow, and they couldn't understand. And then that adult would say, "What? Pardon? Sorry?" And then I'd have to trying again and get like caving in more and more, and just kind of like wanting to hide more and more, and just getting so ashamed of not being able to answer in a normal way. And another part of it is that I don't have like a monologue in my mind, so I didn't have thoughts going on about things, and I was very dissociated from my mind and body, so I didn't have anything to go with, like anything or any kind of like context of what you're supposed to say in certain situations, as well as when to say it and how to say it. So I remember when my mum used to take me to athletics, which I absolutely loved, because you don't need to, by the way, you don't need to speak, so it's kind of like something I could do without feeling really inadequate. But when we used to get there, I remember when the coach or somebody would say, "Hiya," and I couldn't answer. I didn't really know what you were supposed to say. I was quite little, but I just didn't realise. Nobody had said, if someone says hello to you, you say hello. And because it hadn't been told to me explicitly, I just didn't know. And then if someone says, "How are you?" I didn't know what you were supposed to say. So this coach had said, "Oh, how are you?" And I couldn't answer because I couldn't get it out. There's nothing in here to go with. There's no like sort of experience or understanding of what I'm supposed to say, how I'm supposed to react. But I just remember just a complete feeling of shame throughout my whole head and down my body, because I just wanted to sort of like melt away into the ground, because it was just so horrible not being able to do what was expected of me. So that's a little introduction, and I hope it gives an initial insight. Thank you.